Hi, my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and today I'm interviewing Tyler Dean Flores. He's the star of Reefa. Thank you so
Yes.
much for speaking with me, Tyler, and you're the star of Reefa.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Listen, let me tell you something. I kind of, because I don't just like interview people like blind copy type of thing. I look into things, and there's a lot to you that people don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, I just do what I do. But I'm looking and it's like you kind of like have a trajectory where you're kind of like been like a bit of a child star in a sense, where you've been rapping, you have music,
Yeah.
part of your background. So just talk to us about that before we get into the movie.
Yeah. So growing up, I've always really been into like poetry, and then like that just, I guess, followed into rap a little bit. So I think in like fourth grade, I had a rap group. We would like do talent shows, and I started making music, recording music videos. And then I've stopped making music for, or like, I guess, releasing music for probably about like 6, 7 years now. But I've been making music lately just for fun, but we might release something, might not.
So do you feel like that's kind of inspired by perhaps the pandemic itself? Like that's what made you feel more inspired to go back to music?
Yeah, for sure. My friend Jimmy just directed this new movie that I'm in, and he actually wrote it. It's called The Birthday Cake. And he's been in the music industry for years, and he lives in LA. We both just moved out here, and we're bored. Like, let's just start making music. And that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, because even when I heard your music, like the music that I heard, to your point, you were no. I wasn't gonna say don't be embarrassed. I wasn't gonna say anything bad. I wasn't gonna say that. I was like, you were much younger. That's all I was gonna say. You're much younger.
Yeah.
But
It's so funny when people find those videos, when they find them and they bring them up, it's just like, no.
He's like, no, but I was gonna say you were younger, but I could see the vision. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew where you was going with this.
Exactly.
Sometimes you hear stuff, and sometimes you be like, oh no, baby, go ahead, bless your heart. It wasn't like that with you. You were like a very, accomplished, developed child.
Yeah, man. I'm still doing whatever to make it out,
No. But you're from New York.
Yeah, I'm from Harlem. I was born and raised in Harlem, New York.
Oh man, listen, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't go to Harlem unless I'm invited. But Harlem somebody gotta tell me you gotta be here at this time. Harlem is a very interesting place. The only time I go to Harlem is when I'm going to Ricardo's. Do you know Ricardo's Steakhouse?
Of course. I know Ricardo's.
That's the only time
I haven't been there in a while.
But talk to us about
Reefa. Reefa is about a true story based on this kid. His name was Israel Reefa Hernandez, and he was a Colombian immigrant from Barranquilla, and he was living in Miami with his family, and he was tragically murdered by Miami Beach cops. But despite that ending, the film has so much, family in it, so much love, friends, and you kind of just follow his last summer leading up to art school.
What informed how you approached taking on this role of something so heavy? And have you always been interested in the arts and film?
Yeah, so taking on this role, I never really tried to think about the ending that much. But if I did, it only pushed me to just really show as much life as possible.
One of the things that was mentioned in the film, kind of casually, was that people don't necessarily have their papers and things like that. And that's just one of the things that a lot of immigrants have to deal with. I wanted to ask you how it felt to sort of play a role where you're taking on an immigrant role in a film and thinking about immigrant themes, because that's very heavy.
Those are the things that you think about, like what do you have to lose when you're an immigrant? Like what can happen? And I feel like that's what was going through Reefa's mind in those last couple scenes. He had so much to lose if he got caught by these cops. So he didn't want to get caught. So the difference between being Colombian and Puerto Rican, there's no, like, I guess, big difference. It's just like the dialect and accents. But Latin culture altogether is very, very similar. Like, of course, like I've grown up around all sort of, Latin kids, and we all have very, very close similarities. So it's not a huge difference. But the only difference was the whole immigrant part, like, and just thinking about like, what do I have to lose?
What attracted you or what drew you to the role of Reefa?
Well, when I first got the script, I really loved Reefa's character. Like he reminded me of me, you know, like Reefa just wanted to uplift everyone and just like express himself creatively, no matter what it was. And that's what drew me to him. I was just like, man, like I see myself in him, and I've grown up with these kids my whole life. So that's why I picked up this project.
And you know, and being very honest, like I said, I know you were laughing about your, you know, previously you've done music, things like that. And I'm not saying that to sort of tease you. I'm being very serious. Like I think, you know, he's like laughing. But I think when someone watches what you've done and how you've done it, it's very clear, like that you've kind of like been sort of like, you know, you're a star, you know, and you don't want to say it, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
Like, yeah, like, oh yeah, I know what you know, I know. But it's one of those things where it's like you see somebody and you know what they're capable of and what's going to happen for them. How did you feel supported when you started to come into your own and started to pursue? Because you're still very young.
I am.
Especially coming from Harlem, for you to say, I want to go to Hollywood. What was that like? Yeah.
From Harlem to Hollywood.
Right. You know, that's the mixtape.
For sure. I mean, like I've always been supported. Like I've been lucky enough to have amazing parents who have supported like whatever decision I want to make. They're just behind me. They're pushing me in whichever way they can. But I have, of course, like experience like certain teachers that wouldn't support me when I was younger. Like when I would come out to LA when I was like 14, 15 in high school, and they didn't, I guess, see my vision. And there was one teacher specifically who I remember, because my friend told me that was in the class, like she would just completely air everything out and be like, Tyler's failing, this and that. He should be in school. I don't know why he's in Hollywood. Like stuff like that would happen, of course.
So you were managing Hollywood with your kind of like your day-to-day real life, and this person was like a literal grown-up telling you that.
She was my homeroom teacher. She was my counselor, yeah. And when I went away, you know, she said that to the classroom, and it broke my heart, of course, because that's my homeroom teacher. But you know, you're gonna get that, you know, when you're trying to hustle and do different things, go against the grain. So nothing ever discouraged me. Like if people were, you know, I guess hating or whatever, it just made me want to keep going and push even harder.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that you just brought up that I see as a common theme with people that I find that are successful and that are driven is that their families always supported their vision. So obviously, you know, when we're kids, everybody says like, hey, I want to be famous. I want to be, you know, I want to be an actor. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a singer, whatever the case may be. But it's the family that says, you want to do that? We believe you, you know? So the common thing I find is that the family that believes their child and that supports their child in whatever it is that they want to do, cultivating that talent, you know, most people that I talk to, they end up being where you are, Tyler. So I'm super happy to hear that you said that's your journey and that's how you arrived up to where you are, because it makes sense in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super, super grateful for that, you know, super grateful.
Absolutely. Do you, so you're basically dividing your time between Hollywood and Harlem? not just New York, right? Just Harlem.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived in the same apartment in Harlem my whole entire life. Like really? My parents moved there. Yeah, my parents moved there a week before I was born. And I just moved out during the pandemic for the first time ever to a new apartment in LA. So I'm just kind of setting ground here, I guess, for a little bit. But, you know, of course, you know, New York is in my heart. So I got to go back soon.
How do you feel about LA comparatively?
I mean, it's just a complete difference, you know, like you can't go get like a chopped cheese or something.
There's no bodega.
You can't walk. Yeah, you can't walk to the corner and get something to eat. That's the difference. You can't hop on the train and just get from A to B in 15 minutes. Like you got to drive, you know, you got to have a car. So that's the only thing about LA.
You can't trade. Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah,
Back and forth.
you cannot say that. You saying that from a car, you know? You don't even see like that many people walking around on the block. Like
It's
when
so
I'm
true.
walking, because New Yorkers were walkers, you know? Every time I'm walking, I'm like the only person on the block and people are looking at me like I'm weird. It's crazy. For real.
So I obviously want to talk more about your career, but I also want to talk about your hair.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are you doing? Are we co-washing? Like, how are we? Because, you know, I got on a wig right now, and that's what I do.
you got the easy job.
Right, I just turned it on. I'm looking at your
Right.
hair. I'm looking like bundles.
I mean, out here the air is like it's super dry, so I had to get some like some tea tree oil shampoo and conditioner because my scalp was getting so dry.
Who put you
So
onto that?
actually one of these the hair and makeup people from set.
Nice.
Yeah, she told me, she was like, you should get some like tea tree stuff because it's dry out there. So it's been helping me. I just shampoo and condition probably like once every 4 or 5 days. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, like, with New York, obviously New York and LA are very different animals, and with New York, no matter how famous you are, people are going to treat you how they feel like they want to treat you. And LA is very different in the sense where obviously, you know, even A-listers can be at the Trader Joe's or the Whole Foods or whatever, and people are not going to really, like, you know, they're not going to bat eye. It's not that serious. But in LA, it's like in New York rather, people want you to sort of earn your respect. So did you find that you growing up in New York and with you choosing this particular career, that it was a little bit harder for you because of that? Like, were you bullied in any kind of sense, or is that not the case?
Not at all. Like,
Okay.
I was never bullied. It kind of shapes you, you know?
Okay.
It does shape you a lot more to be a lot stronger and have, you know, tough skin. And just know if you can survive being in New York, you can survive being in LA, you know, easily.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
For sure.
if you have a car.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have a car.
It's a little difficult. You're like, yeah.
Right.
It's difficult on foot. Like you said, when you're in LA walking. I mean, I've walked in LA casually, and people have been like, "Yo, are you okay?" And I'm like,
right.
What are you talking about?
Like, I'm from New York, man.
New York. Am I okay? I'm from New York. Seriously, no, I'm kidding. But what are some of your favorite things to do outside of acting? Like, what would somebody like to learn about Tyler Dean?
Well, I enjoy making like music with my friend Jimmy. We've been kind of like shooting content. Like, we first started making the music just to shoot content because we just want to film stuff and like put cool things together. So I've been pretty busy with that lately. I enjoy traveling. I love riding my bike. I ship my bike out from New York.
Nice.
I have a big ripper out here. So I just ride around all the time. I love being at the beach. That's why I love Miami as well. Like, I love Miami because it's just like the perfect balance between New York and Miami.
Everybody in Miami is from New York anyway.
Exactly. It's like, we're from New York. It's like, of course you are, you know. I never understood it when I was younger, but now I'm like, I understand. Like, I want to live there now, you know?
Right. And who would you like to work with that you have not worked with yet? Let's just like put it out there.
Ooh, there's a lot of people. I worked a little bit with Ava DuVernay on When They See Us. I was on set for that, and that was great. I would love to work with her again. I love Derek Cianfrance, who wrote Place Beyond the Pines, Blue Valentine. He directed all those as well. And I also really want to work on this new DC movie. It's called Blue Beetle. It's like the first Latin superhero movie. And it's actually directed by a Puerto Rican director, straight from Santurce. And his name is Angel Manuel Soto. So I would love to work with him as well.
It's just incredible to even be in your presence right now and to be able to interview you and to hear you talk about what you'd like to do and to hear you talk about what you have done. It's very exciting to me to see people actualize, you know, their dreams and to actually be like just amazing. Like, there's people that look up to you as well, you know?
For sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Like, I mean, it feels good to be an inspiration to, you know, some people, whether it's in the hood or just outside, just whoever it is, you know, it feels amazing.
So when you go back to Harlem, does it feel a little weird? Like, are you still like, hey, you know, still same old?
Yeah, it's still the same thing. Like I know where I live. Like I'm right here, you know? Like I remember doing the Dark Knight Rises and people would sort of look at me differently. And I'm like, I haven't changed. I still live right there, you know? Like I gotta stop treating me like this, you know? But yeah, everyone shows me love, man. Like Harlem is just like that's where home is, you know?
That's amazing. And what would be like your dream role? Like if anything, I know we talked about the superhero, but if that is the dream role.
That's kind of the dream role for me. like moving forward, like I would love to get that. But I also love just like meaningful roles and stuff. It's nothing like too specific. If I read it and I connect to it, that's enough for me.
Do you have anything else planned in the future as far as anything we haven't heard about, anything you want to talk about?
Yes. I mean, hopefully we release something soon with the band that we have, Jimmy and I. But I'm in Jimmy's new movie. It's called The Birthday Cake. It's with Val Kilmer, Ewan McGregor, Lorraine Bracco, and that should be coming out hopefully in a few months. I play this kid named Flacco in there who works at a bodega, and
not the bodega.
Yeah. And then we have this other film that Jimmy and Raul, who's a producer and writer as well, that you know him and Jimmy are partners. You know, they're family to me. They have another project called 18 and Over coming out soon with Ashley Benson that I'm also in. That's gonna be so much fun. That was like my first kind of like I guess comedic role. So that was a lot of fun to shoot. And yeah, that's pretty much it right now. We have other things going on. I'm not sure if I can talk too much about it, but
no, don't say nothing you shouldn't say.
yeah, for sure.
No, man, you sound
keep my mouth zipped.
Right. No, you sound super grounded, and you know, you're one of those people that I think it's very easy to root for you. It's very easy to be proud of you, to be excited about your journey. So just just speaking as someone that as a fan, I think as a hometown, like your hometown hero. Now I might not be from Harlem. I'm from Bed-Stuy. You know what I'm saying? But
I see.
You're still a New Yorker, so the love is the same. At the end of the day, I have to love you.
And my mom is from Brooklyn too. She's from Marcy Project. So
I
got a little bit of that in me. Exactly.
See, that's the Bed-Stuy homegirl.
Exactly.
Your mom, too. I probably know your mom. She's probably my age. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Thank you so much, Tyler. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and it's been an absolute honor. And I look forward to everything that you have going on in the future. Is there anything else that you want to talk about regarding your role in Reefa? I know we got super off tangent, but is there anything you want to talk about?
Reefa comes out April 16th on VOD, digital platforms, which is like iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff. It's on Apple TV right now for pre-order. And then it should be coming to a streaming service very soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it about Reefa. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you love it.
Look, you went from your parents' house to Hollywood. Who gets to say that?
Exactly. My dad is visiting me right now too.
Right? He's in your house right now.
Exactly. I'm like, pick up that stuff over there, do dishes.
Don't talk to your dad like that. Thank you so much, guys. This is Tyler Dean Flores, the star of Reefa. An amazing, amazing talent, guys. If you don't know who he is, you will know who he is. We love you. Thank you, Tyler. My name is Koku with blackfilm.com. I appreciate you so much, Tyler. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.